We're getting ready to start the meeting, sir. Thank you. All right. It is 3:13, so the DDA meeting for March 27th is called to order. Ms. Clay, can we do a roll call, please? Yes, present. Reminder that she's muted if she's trying to talk.
Hi, Jacqueline has joined. Can you hear me?
Yes. Present. Solid. Jacqueline Faith. Jacqueline Faith.
Present. Apologies.
Nancy Howard. It's already on.
Present.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Colin. Donald Shaw. Jay Evans. Present. All right, thank you. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda? Or is there anything that we need to add or delete? All right, not hearing anything. Can I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
I make a motion.
That, Jacqueline?
Yes.
All right. A second from Jay. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. The minutes from February 27th, have everyone had the opportunity to review them? And if so, are there any changes to be recommended? All right, not hearing any. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes from February 27th?
So moved.
All right, I'm sorry. Was that Nancy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All right, Ms. Clay, can you do the roll call vote, please? Yes. Jacqueline Faith.
Yes.
Nancy Howard.
Yes.
Jay Evans. Yes. All right, old business. This is a review and discussion of my property landscaping contracts.
Good afternoon, everyone. This would be on page 6 of your agenda packet. It is now officially spring and we are now officially in grow season again. And our landscaper, Anderson Lawn Care, has started cutting the DDA lots as well as the DA lots in and around the Main Street district as of last week. What you have before you is the list of all of the properties that he will be maintaining. We are on a contract with him through the end of June, through the end of this fiscal cycle. Through the end of this fiscal, and he does do a weekly cut. As we are in the midst of Operation Offload, as we continue to offload and redevelop some of our properties, some of these properties on these lists will come off. Are there any questions? And also in your packet, just for your reminder, is the actual landscaping services agreement that we are under with him. Like I said, we will renew and start the renewal rebid process in mid-May, June of this year. We do have the option to renew our contract, and if we do nothing with him, we have to give at least a 30-day notice in writing. If we do not, prior to the expiration of the contract, it will automatically roll into another year. But staff will remind you, and will come forth in the May, June timeframe with some new proposed bids to look at so that we remain competitive with our landscaping. Are there any questions?
This list here is just DDA property.
Yes, ma'am, just DDA properties.
What about the flowers and
The fountain?
the planting of the flowers?
Yes.
They're doing this also.
Yeah, nope, different contract. So the fountain landscaping is Duncan's Landscaping has that contract. They have started about 2 months ago. If you drive by, you will now see that there's new landscape, or not landscaping, there's new pine straw has been put out. They have done herbicide and some pre-emergence out there already. The next phase, probably within the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, you should see flowers, ma'am, in the Forest Park letters on College Street. I'm gonna drive by and take a picture and some video just for you. Yes, but that contract is with Duncan. So the landscaping in and around the fountain, different than the maintenance of our lots. Yes.
Questions or comments? Anyone? All right, thank you.
All right.
East Street.
This is me again. All right, so I just wanted to give a quick update on where we are with the East Street renovations. We are in the final phase. We have awarded vendor contracts to move forward with the addition of a deck on the back, as well as the trimming of the very large tree in the center of the backyard, in addition to the installation of a privacy fence. So we just worked through that process. I know the requisitions have been submitted and signed. I believe we are still waiting on a PO. As soon as the PO is done, probably within the next week, maybe 10 days, we will have, I know, but it's coming, I promise, but then we will have contractors out there working on our beautiful deck and making our tree really nice and putting up a privacy fence.
The shopping for that will begin, I guess, within that same time.
Yes, ma'am.
Drive. I know Ivory stepped out to get some more paperwork.
Mayor Butler, just one additional update on that, if you will.
No, I was like, where the heck I did the same.
Yes.
Just an update to the board. You and I are meeting with a furniture designer on Tuesday to begin final preparation for the interior of the home. Those POs will be circulated within the next 24 hours. They're already done, Ms. Dennis. So it may move along quicker than the 10-day period that you just
Thank you.
stated.
Thank you very much.
Well, we'll skip this one when Ivory comes back. We can discuss the intergovernmental agreement.
So, it's me again. We have gone through and in consultation with Attorney Matricardi, we do not have an IGA between the DDA and Public Works. And given that the DDA also serves as our Main Street Board and Public Works also helps with setup, tables, chairs, et cetera, particularly for our Main Street events, and discussion wanted to move forward with having an IGA on record between the DDA and the city, specifically our Public Works Department.
We have it now.
We do not have a draft as of yet. But we should be able to have that to you for review and hopefully finalization at the next meeting. So there really isn't an action. I just wanted to make you aware of what we're working on.
Hey, Mayor Butler, if you will. This will be consistent with what we've done with the URA. So the language of the MOU will be very similar to that, I am certain. Just outlining what some of those services are. And when necessary, similar to what the URA does, for projects that are just larger than something that can be handled quickly, Public Works essentially provides a cost of whatever it is, and we reimburse, and the URA reimburses the city for said costs, just as to keep some of the stuff separate and keep the records clear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Georgia Power.
It's the tree trimming easement for 819 Forest Parkway. And so if you're in agreement, granting it,
Okay. And I think you two are with Georgia Power?
no.
No?
You're with the,
Okay. Is that executive session? Okay. All right. I don't know. Were you ladies able to hear Attorney Matricardi?
It was a little bit challenging. No, ma'am.
So Georgia Power has offered $300 for a tree trimming easement on 819 Forest Parkway. I know the camera's pretty far away, so yeah, you definitely can't see it. But it's just on the corner of the parcel. It won't impact the use of the parcel whatsoever. And so if everyone is in agreement or if there's a motion, now would be the time.
Georgia Power. All right. So Ms. J made the motion to approve the easement with Georgia Power. Is there a second?
I second.
I think that was Jacqueline I heard first. Is there any discussion? All right, Ms. Clay, please. Yes.
Yes.
Nancy, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything.
We had a motion to accept the Georgia Power easement. And we're calling for the vote.
Okay, yes, ma'am. That's a yes for me.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna go back up to the Ernest Drive property update. That's not executive session, is it? No? Okay. Oh, we will go back to the Ernest Drive property update. And Mr. Lede, you have the floor. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay,
Good afternoon, Mr. Lede.
where we are with Ernest Drive, we've received a proposal from Mr. Steve Bernard to go ahead and complete build out from where we stand at this moment, from preparing the moving forward with getting the architectural work done with the design and giving us his budget of what he thinks the job will cost. And I'd like to go through the difference, the numbers while we have a moment here. All right.
Ms. Clay, if I email it to you, can you share your screen?
Thank you. Okay, we just received this in the last few minutes, so I'm going through it with you for the first time as well. So bear with me, please. Okay, where we are, starting with the exact construction costs per property. This is just for the construction cost of materials. We're looking at roughly 396, 628 per building. We have 2 buildings going up. Land prep and clearing debris and removal, we have a budgetary cost of about 12,400. What we mean by budgetary is when you start digging, it could be less or it could be a little bit more. When you start digging, you don't know if there's any stones or anything that needs to be removed, large stones. So it could be more or it just could be less. It's just budgetary with the B there in the end. Additional dirt buildup, if we need to do any dirt or any buildup, we're looking at roughly about 16,200. He just gave it a good average there of what it would cost. Could be, again, could be less, could be more, a little bit more. Grading the lots at roughly both lots at 9,380. Water meter for each property, 3,215. I guess it's with permits and, everything you need, not just the meter itself. I asked them to give me everything complete, no hidden cost for permits or, anything down the road. So just put everything in there. Soft costs, I guess with the plans, that's, both. I need to double check and do a follow-up with the soft costs the plans are. I'm assuming there's any changes or anything of that nature that may be required. Hang on one second there. I got Mr. Bernard on the phone. Maybe you can answer some of these things for us. Mr. Bernard? Yes, sir, I did. Now, you're in perfect position here. I'm actually going over it with the board at this moment. Would you mind speaking to the soft cost for the plans? I'm not aware of what the soft costs are, and I'd like to explain that, please.
Just your pre-construction costs, like your costs for your drawings, costs for your permits, costs for your water, just all your paper stuff. So you're gonna have to, once you start building, you're gonna have to have a structural engineer. Those are the soft costs, and they're all spelled out there.
Understood. So that's the drawings, the additional drawings for everything.
The structural engineer, those are soft costs.
Understood. Now, we do have a line item for structural engineer as well in the line number 8 for 1250. So that's outside of the soft cost plans, correct?
Yes. So the soft cost should it should have the cost of the permits. The cost of the drawing, the cost of the permit. I don't know if that's itemized out yet, or I should just put the soft costs on it. It's primarily the architect's number.
Understood. And would you also give us line number 9, contractor overhead and profit? Would you go ahead and give us an explanation of that as well, please?
That's what I charge through the job.
Understood. Understood. Okay. So we have a total budget.
Everything is hard costs. Everything that I do there's nothing added onto it. These are just hard costs.
Okay. Can you really hear that?
No, what did you say?
Oh.
That percentage is how I get paid.
Understood. So repeat that. You said everything there was a hard cost, correct? Repeat that line for me, please.
Yeah, the percentage for the contractor, that's how I get paid.
Oh, let's go back. The structural engineering. The structural engineering, that's an item, part of the soft cost. Is that not the same as number 8? I wasn't sure on that answer.
Right. The structural engineering on line 8, that is not part of the soft cost we have on 6. The soft cost is for the drawings.
Oh, so, okay.
Give me 1 second, let me pull that up real quick.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm on the job site.
And can he send us the itemized soft costs?
1 second here.
Can we get an itemized list of all that's the soft cost encompasses?
Sure. When we get an opportunity, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, hold on, let me pull it up 1 second.
Sure.
And then I have a question, number 3. It was if it's needed. And so he won't know.
Correct. You won't know exactly. When it has a B next to it, but in parentheses, budgetary, those are things that you can't.
Give me a few minutes, let me call you right back.
Sure, thank you.
Let me get off of all this noise, and I'll find a quiet place.
He's gonna call right back. He's just a lot of noise in the background. Anything with a B next to it in parentheses that you see is budgetary. That depends on, those numbers, he can't give you a hard number on. It could be less, it could be a little bit more. Those are things that when you work, as you go in through the job, you don't know what needs to be done 100%. So you have to just put what normally, what the job looks like it would need until you get there. So that's budgetary. And he'll call back, I guess we can get the, you want an itemized list of what the soft costs are with the plans, correct? I'll get that for you. But right now, with everything, the budget estimate total is at 1.028 million to put both properties on there. Correct. And that's everything. That's not, not just building the home, that's taking that project from where it is right now and getting us to a certificate of occupancy. People can move in.
And did he give us a schedule?
Not on here, if I'm correct, but when we spoke, we can get him back on the line. But when we spoke, he said we're looking at about, I guess with zoning and planning, I guess maybe another 2 to 3 weeks possibly. And after that, we're looking at about 60 to 90 days.
We have planning and community development.
Again? Well,
So we do have her here. So Ms. Dozier? Yes. Okay, can you speak to that, please?
Okay, so this project in particular is supposed to split the lot into two. The lot is supposed to be rezoned to residential 2-family. Each lot will have 2 units per lot as 2 structures, as you mentioned, up here.
No, it's,
Or is that the single family on each lot?
single family.
Okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, it kept changing.
Yes, okay.
Back to the original.
Okay, that being the case, we still will have to get the lot split and the rezoning. And yes, it takes about maybe 2 months to get it done if it's done really quickly and we get it back to back. But we can expedite the process as much as we can to make sure this gets done as quickly as possible if the board chooses to go forward.
The lot was already done.
I believe they were supposed to put in for it, but then it got postponed because of the change. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the lot splitting, and then what else did you say?
All that would have to happen is a lot split, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that we're still at our single-family residential zoning for this particular area. We only were considering changing it if there was going to be a change in the project.
Have you guys seen the renderings?
We have not seen anything. This is the first time. Thank you.
I think Ms. Clay Samaria should have sent you another email. Can you open that, please? So what entails splitting of the lot? What needs to be submitted?
He would have to submit a plat that basically shows the parcel split into 2. The parcel itself would have to meet the minimum requirements as per zoning for each parcel. It looks like there may be a grading issue, which is the reason why the house appears to be on the slant going down in the rear, according to these pictures. That one shows the lines very barely, but I think that's the reason why that the structures were made this particular way. Yes, ma'am. The dotted lines that go up and down basically are showing that there's a grading difference on the property. So based on looking at these pictures, it looks like the back of the property had to grade down in order for him to accommodate the space. But once again, this is the first time I'm looking at it, but I can take this information and do a little bit of a more thorough review of it and just ensure that there are no variances or anything else needed based on the size of the property and the size of the home that is proposed for each of the parcels. Okay.
Are there any more pictures?
So I will get that information together and forward it to you for the entirety of the board to review. Okay?
Now the lot split, Mayor Butler, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
The lot split and the any applicable variances would be submitted by the DDA since the DDA is the property owner, right, Director Dozier?
And so is that Ms. Dennis is going to prepare all that?
Well, we could do the paperwork, but I think as it relates to preparing the plat, it would be easier for the builder to do it. And if not, we would just have to call in Falcon Engineering or somebody to do that, we don't have the tools to do that.
But even with the permitting, are we paying for our own permits?
We do not.
So then that cost should go down also under this soft cost, if that's what he's trying to include in soft costs.
Well, let me not say we do not. Director Dozier, I don't believe the DDA, or maybe that's a legal question. I don't think we would charge ourselves for, well, I guess you're dealing with two different entities, the DDA versus the city.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to point out that if it is a city project, we review it, we do not charge. Okay, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's perfect.
Just to clarify that statement, it's a authority in the city. It's not the city. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. That's why I was asking Attorney Metricardi.
And that's a fair question, and I'll.
So although it's separate from the city because it's a governmental entity, the city can, in its discretion, waive the fees without violating the gratuities clause.
Understood. And that can be done up under my authorization, Attorney Metricardi? Okay. Well, Mayor Butler, that's the answer. We will not have fees for this project. Now, I'm not certain, and we would probably even be able to work with the Water Authority on any applicable fees that they would have to get those waived as well
Okay, thank you.
for their review.
All right, any other questions or comments? Oh, yes.
One, the soft cost, what exactly that is for the architectural work. That's it. You have the designs and the site plans, drawing all that up. That's all.
And so how would this work? Would this be like a drawdown? Or he will submit as he goes along? He will submit invoices as he go along. Are we approving this not to exceed X amount? And then they pull from it as the project progresses?
So it depends on how you want to set it up. You can do the maximum price not to exceed X amount, and then any change orders that would be required, they would have to come back to get an increase in the price.
Any questions or comments? No? None? Ms. J? None? Okay. Yes, sir. 1.2. Well, $1,028,000, 28,000.
The only question I have is, I see the cost is at 1.28. It's for the two duplexes, single family. The question I have and what I have to say, because I'm about to do the financial report and it doesn't have $1 million in our spending account. That would have to. Yes, let's do that. Good evening, everybody. This is, well, thank you for that intro.
Director Wiggins, can you have staff add that to the screen so that the board members that are on this call can follow along?
Yes, I did send it to Ms. Clay. Okay. Okay. Can everybody online see that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Um, this is our monthly reporting for the Downtown Development Authority as of February 2025. I always start out with the operating cash. We're looking at the DDA checking account ending in 0510. This checking account, this account here is your main account that does all of your payments, daily payments. The beginning balance is $656,897. You have an ending balance of $469,545. Your next account, which is your DDA Series 2023 B ending in 3693, it has a beginning balance of $1,163,916. The ending balance for that is $1,166,736. We have the next one is the DDA Main Street checking ending in 1160. That beginning budget is $1,091,329. The ending balance is $1,093,717. Operating revenue, we have a budget of $1,429,768. And the year to date, you have $3,638,013. Your operating expenses, budget at $1,429,768. You have a year-to-date actual at $490,887. That leaves you with a budget balance of $875,045. You also have an encumbrance sitting there at $63,836. The next three slides are graphs just giving you a visual of the operating cash, revenue, and expenses. The next one, the bank account ending in 0510. This is the main account. This right here shows you, it also shows you all of the checks that went through. And it also giving you the beginning budget, as I stated before, as well as the ending budget. And I've also included all of the checks behind this particular statement. The next report is a department payment report. This shows the monthly payments from that department, which is the DDA, and it shows most of all the payments that's gone through as far as all the checks, which coincide with the previous statement. After that, we have the next the next statement, bank statement. This is the one ending in 3693. This gives you the beginning balance and the ending balance, as I said before, which ended in 1.166736. The next one ending in 1160, we have this one here ending in, you have an ending balance of 1,093,709. Coming up to the last statement, which is your Georgia Fund 1, basically your reserve account. Here we have an ending balance of $2,075,050.59. With that, you had an earnings reinvestment of the month of February of $7,022.60. And then the last little report is basically the information report to give us the numbers for the operating revenue and expenses. So that concludes the financial report for February 2025.
Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? All right, thank you.
Mhm.
And let's see, our Main Street update.
Good afternoon again, everyone.
No.
So I am excited to give you some fantastic updates about our Main Street program. We kicked off our event season, our 2025 Main Street event season with our St. Patrick's Day fountain party. And we've got a great little video, and you might see some people that you know in this video. And kudos to our PIO office, particularly Mr. Kwame, for capturing this so beautifully. Thank you, thank you. And if you missed it, it's okay. It's okay. I won't hold it against you. In front of you, you have the updated community, our updated events calendar for the remainder of the year. Our next event will be on next Friday. We are partnering with the Food Truck Friday and are bringing you the longest table at Food Truck Friday. And so our longest table is really a community event that was created in New York. It's literally exactly what it sounds like. You run a very long table. We're going to put it down the center of Main Street in front of Bill Lee Park. and it's designed to really foster community conversation and connection. So doing this in partnership with our Food Truck Friday. And then our next event after that will be our second annual wine festival. We've got some exciting things planned, including we'll have our sommelier again, food trucks. We will have a VIP food reception, and Magnolia is providing our catering. We will do a wine pull and vino bingo, et cetera, et cetera. So please make plans to join us on Friday, Friday, April 25th. I keep wanting to give it a different day. Friday, April the 25th. But I am so beyond excited, and I've been teasing this for y'all, with y'all for a few months now, to show you our new hot off the presses branding. So what you have in front of you is the new logo. Hello, Mr. Stallings. It's a new logo for the Office of Economic Development. They're on the front page. I know, I'm very excited. It is beautiful. It looks great. But drum roll, and there's our fountain. Ta-da! Wait, there. So our new Main Street logo, it encompasses, we worked hard on this over the past several months with LeVar, Norsworthy, and team, and really wanted to capture the spirit of not just what our Main Street was, but what our Main Street can be. And so wanted to lean in and really do a blended approach between, the historic aspect of Main Street and what a Main Street community looks like. Again, our iconic clock tower, keep going. And then we also decided to go even a little bit further we had to do the sizzle with it, was to show you what our logo would look like on branded items. So here's what it would look like on our cups. Here's what it will look like on our tent. Our tent isn't quite this nice. I'm gonna be coming back for some extra money in the budget to get a tent like this, but what it would look like on a tent, as well as on hats, as well as on t-shirts. And so, and as you remember, one of the things that we've talked about is having a full ambassador program. And part of being an ambassador is that I need you to walk the walk, but I also need you to look the part as well. So excited that we will, with your blessing, that we will, and the adoption of this Main Street logo, and the adoption of the Main Street logo, that we can move forward with some additional branding for the Main Street office and our ambassador program. So, and I do have hard copies. I've got a couple that I can share with you if you want to have. Couple of hard copies for you so you can see it and be up close and with it as well. Are there any questions or comments or feedback?
Hey, sorry, I have the child with me. I apologize for that. Not necessarily a question. I want to go back to the yearly calendar. I want to say thank you for providing that. I know that I requested it last time we spoke, so that was very helpful as far as planning ahead. So
Yes.
thank you for that. And
You're
do
very
love
welcome. Fantastic. And we've made a couple of little tweaks and changes. Oh, I don't know that that's is that in that version? It's not. That is the additional, what you have in front of you is the additional full marketing package for the Office of Economic Development. Yes, ma'am. And as always, as we make changes and tweaks to our calendar, we will do our best to keep you update all of our collateral and all of the places where it sits, as well as the calendar invite. So thank you for being attentive, and thank you for embracing our logo and loving it as much as we do. Any
think
questions about Main Street?
No question, just I think the work that you guys are doing is awesome. It's very exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. We're going to give credit to our city manager. Yes. So it's part of the new monument signs around the city as well as the pocket parks. I know. So it's like all the branding kind of all the stars are aligning in Forest Park. So thank you for that. Economic development update. I'll make this very quick. As most of you know, Director Marcellus Williams' last day with the City of Forest Park was last Friday. Yeah, last Friday. I am currently serving as your interim economic development director, and it's my honor to give you a couple of quick updates. We've talked about our Main Street logo and as well as the economic development logo. We will be coming before council at some point just to roll out the full package of economic development collateral. It's beautiful. I just got to work through some printing. We are super excited to announce that on yesterday, we officially have turned over the keys to 751, 771 Main Street. There is a video that I'm still waiting to see to Ebony Austin with Nuvo of Jonesboro. She has given us our assurances that she's got plans and she will be coming to our Planning and Community Development Department on Monday. So we're very excited and we'll keep you posted as dirt hopefully starts to turn very soon at 751, 771. We are also excited to announce that we now have an official workforce development program here in the city of Forest Park. In partnership with the Atlanta Center for Self-Sufficiency, we are rolling out, and as well as a series of other partners, Clayton State, Atlanta Technical College, Clayton County Public Schools, and Calvary Refuge. We are standing up the first workforce development initiative here in the city of Forest Park. And Atlanta Center for Self-Sufficiency will be moving into 819 Forest Parkway, Suite D, right next to the Little Caesars. We will be doing a grand opening and ribbon cutting on April the 18th. At 10 a.m. Calendar invite will be coming shortly if it hasn't hit your boxes already. But look forward to it. We're very excited and working very, very, very quickly to pull all of the resources together to officially welcome them into the city and dig deep with this program. We're also excited about our continued partnership with Clayton State's Small Business Development Center. For the past 3 Mondays, they have hosted one-on-one business consulting for free for our small business community here, specifically in Forest Park, and really covering a wide range of things from financing to marketing to expansion to how do I sell my business? How do I take my market, my product to scale, et cetera, et cetera. And as I tell people all the time, I am a graduate of the SBDC program at Clayton State back when I had my own business. It is a fantastic program. It is free. It is a tremendous wealth of resources, and very excited that we have dug deeper into that partnership with Clayton State and bringing those resources here to our community. I also had a meeting with at the farmers market, it's been probably 3 weeks ago now, with the Georgia Produce Growers Agriculture something or other luncheon. The agriculture commissioner for the state was there and was able to speak about the proposed plans and changes and all that they're doing at the state farmers market. The farmers market has had some stormwater issues, known stormwater issues for a number of years. And so the back section of the market where Cosmoflora and Don Burrito, et cetera, those businesses that are along the back will be displaced for a period of time. We're trying to figure out exactly how long. Our office is working very closely with those tenants and trying to find them a landing spot here in Forest Park. But that back area will now be used to address the stormwater issues, which is a good thing, kind of a little bittersweet, but eventually a good thing. One of the things that I learned that was very interesting, or 2 things really, that the proposed plans for the farmers market is to turn it into an agricultural terminal. Of course, immediately I was like, what exactly does that mean? And nobody can really tell me exactly what that means. So trying to figure out, okay, and how does that potentially impact some of the other businesses that are out there that are not directly agriculture in nature. The second thing that I learned, and where we're trying to get a meeting with Lindsey Brown, who is basically the director of operations for the farmers market here, is that they have a waiting list of tenants trying to come out to the farmers market. They don't have place to put them. And so, of course, I raised my hand again. I was like, well, where did they go once they end up on your waiting list? And can you share that with us? And so part of the meeting that we're trying to get scheduled is to get the list of those people that are on the farmers market's waiting list so that we can potentially find a space for them here. A lot of what we know is that these are tenants that need more larger industrial-esque type spaces. So Old Dixie and I know, wrong place, right? And Fort Gillum. So working through that. And again, our phone continues to ring off the hook. We have a series of meetings, property tours. We are very excited. The Development Authority, if you have not driven down Main Street, drive down and look at 850 at the renovations that are being done to the exterior as well as the interior. They're working very hard on that project. Right now, there are 3 available office spaces on the bottom and 2 additional office spaces on the top floor, in addition to the banquet hall ballroom, which will be coming back. So very excited that we have the potential to have more marketable space. We do have, and again, and partly in conversation with our relationship with SBDC, as they meet businesses all the time that are looking to scale or they've outgrown their space, trying to see how we work. And we have actually got 2 people already lined up that are interested in looking at the space at 850 Main Street. And I think that's enough for there. I could talk about this all day. Any questions?
No questions, Mayor, if I may. Thank you for the update. I do want to, as soon as you find out exactly what they're going to do with the farmers market, just give us an update. And I do appreciate that they're going to be fixing all the damage. I feel like the farmers market has gone without any PLC for a few years.
Mhm.
That was all.
Yes, definitely. And they understand, there is a, bless you, there is a request of the agricultural commissioner to the Senate or to the House and the Senate for some additional funding. There has been some funding that was previously allocated in the previous budget season, but there's not enough to do all of what needs to happen. So we understand that this will be a phased approach to the renovation, to the proposed renovations out there. But I will most definitely keep you posted. Mm-hmm. It is not required that we find a space for them, but it is in our best interest to find a soft landing space for them in our city. They do not, as they are, as part of the farmers market, they are not required to have a City of Forest Park business license. However, they do pay property taxes here. But they do, their business license is actually with the state. So it's a little weird kind of how the state functions with this farmers market. But again, you know, we don't want to see businesses that are still directly within our community leave. It is a benefit for us for them to continue to be here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. And nobody really answered my question, but I'll find out. Right. Correct. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Clark.
you.
Mr. Clark, you have the floor.
Thank you so much to the Honorable Mayor Angeline Butler and the esteemed Downtown Development Authority members that are present today. As all of you will recall, at our last meeting, the Downtown Development Authority discussed leasing the space that we have over at 819 Forest Parkway for the Elevate program, Elevate initiative rather, which is geared towards taking people from shelter to stability. The Atlanta Center for Self-Sufficiency will serve as the intake officer and use that suite space. In an effort to get this project off the ground, we had our procurement departments as well as Public Works go out to do some general observations of the site. And we have learned that they have found mold inside the building. And so we're asking for approval not to exceed $35,000. Of course, some of it we're going to try to lower, but not to exceed $35,000 to get all of those items taken care of, including but not limited to repair of the HVAC system that is there, as well as mediating any mold that has been identified in the structure, painting, and just general upkeep. Everything else will be taken care of by the Atlanta Center for Self-Sufficiency. And this is an emergency item as we just received it not even 2 hours ago. Just the final information from our procurement department, where they solicited for bids.
Now, will it be done before April 18th?
That's why we're having to expedite it. Yes, ma'am, Mayor Butler. We're not trying to change the target date. But we just want to make certain that on the 18th, when we do that opening, that the building is habitable.
Just spell it. Okay, any questions or comments? Oh, goodness. Okay. So that was for mold and what? HVAC?
Yes, ma'am, because it's an exhaustive list of repairs that are needed, Mayor
Okay.
Butler, to include painting. I think it would be appropriate for the motion to include necessary renovations and repairs to that facility in an amount not to exceed $35,000, as well as authorizing staff to seek ways to bring you that money back.
All right, you guys heard the motion. Do you?
So move.
Okay, that was, I think, Nancy. Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
Jacqueline, I'm sorry. Is there a
And I
second?
second.
Oh,
That was
second.
Nancy first, and then I second. Jacqueline second.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Ms. Clay?
Mayor Anthony Butler,
Yes.
Eric Stalling. Yes. Jacqueline Faith,
Yes.
Nancy Howard,
Yes.
Jay Evans. Yes.
Was that it, Mr. Clark? Mr.
Yes,
Clark,
ma'am,
is
Mayor
that-
Butler, that is all we have to report on today.
All right, thank you. And
And
so
Mayor
thi-
Butler, if you could just extend the invitation to the members that are present and online for that opening of the Elevate Studios.
Yes, check your emails for that invitation. All right, so before we go into executive session, let's go back to this Ernest Drive property. And so, oh. Okay, so I just handed it to Mr. Stalling. So this is what is proposed right now. Mr. Steve Bernard provided these numbers. And this is for the Ernest Drive property for the employee housing. And these are his numbers. And so that final number would be for both homes. But what I would like the board to consider, whatever we do definitely would not exceed that amount, but I am going to ask the board, we're going to move forward with splitting the lot, but then focus on one house first. That will cut the cost down for now, and then as our coffers build, which should not take long, then we work on the second house, but at least a lot will be divided. The grading, we may or may not want to do both lots now. We can figure that part out later, but I do not want to prolong this project any longer.
Mayor Butler, I'm in total agreement with your suggestion, and I would also offer that based upon the heart of this initiative, I just wonder, and of course, Attorney Mastricardi would have to opine, if it would be appropriate or legal for us to do some type of campaign using crowdfunding or something similar to see how many donors can we get to fund this mission as well. I think it's a great cause, especially as everyone recognizes the inflation that's happening, especially across the metropolitan area. I just think it's highly appropriate, and I think it also will bring additional press eyes to this initiative that this board is doing. instead of just looking at our employee situation, the DDA is actually taking it to the next level through your initiative, Mayor Butler, and helping to find solutions.
I think that's a very interesting and intriguing proposition from my perspective.
Thank you. Thank you. Eric, you just got here. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Jacqueline.
Hello, Eric Stallings here. So it's not really a concern. Obviously, the $1 million number hops out at you. I just want to make sure we're thinking through that. We're going to spend $1 million for 2 properties to put our put city employees in at a subsidized rent. Is that the plan? Right. So it'd be subsidized. So we would, are we funding this completely from our coffers, or are we planning on getting financing?
Hey, if somebody is responding in the room, the board members online cannot hear.
So I was saying, that is why I made that proposal, because these numbers are only going up. And even with the amount suggested, it would be not to exceed, with the intent that Mr. Clark meets with Mr. Bernard and still try to drive these costs down some. But in my motion, it would be not to exceed X amount, and we can come up with whatever X amount is, but I really do not want to delay this project any longer. Any questions? Comments?
Yes, Ms. Butler, real quick, the, not necessarily a concern, but going back to what you stated earlier about having one of the items itemized, I think it was the soft something. Can we have that as well? Like, is that a thing? Can it be?
Absolutely.
Mayor Butler, to board member Stallings' point, that was why I suggested the crowdfunding, just to see how do we, in fact, leverage additional capital and diversify the way that in which we are doing this to raise that money, so that it's not just born off of your coffers alone. We're using a diversified funding model to try to get there. I had not thought about exploring financing this project, and the only thing I can think of is if our finance director was able to get some interest rates that were favorable, so that in the long run it would be amortized. We wouldn't be taking it all out at one time. That's an interesting concept, but it would just take us time to get that information to see what those numbers look like. I'm not sure if he knows off the top of his head.
But that would be for the second home forward, correct?
For either model, I mean, if the goal is to move forward with the first one now without entertaining any of those options, that's one. Or we could look at it. I'm not sure. I think Director Wiggins is still in the room. How quick he could turn around that answer to see if through our finance partners what that interest rate would be if we finance this model for that amount of money. I'm not sure. I know he looks at those numbers daily. But we know that 300,000 is in the account right now based upon the finance report that was provided, but I also understand leveraging other people's cash and keeping yours more liquid. I get that notion as well.
Yes, City Manager, I'm still here. You're absolutely correct. I might have to give you some information. I could probably give you some information next week. We are in conversation with Truist, with their investment team on doing and looking at those type of investments. Also, I've been Office of Treasurer of the state. They reached out to me also with the premier part of Georgia Fund One in moving the interest up again. So I I have two pending conversations with two different entities, two of our entities we use. So probably next week, I probably could have some information probably by Tuesday or Wednesday. Just need some time to hash that out to see about increasing our rate and also getting us a little bit more. The only thing about it, some of the money, I know with the Georgia Fund One, they said off the bat, the money probably will have to sit for maybe 5 to maybe 10 months for you to see the effect of what you're looking for. That's in
In that
Georgia Fund.
in that same vein, the other thing, if we go that financing route, once you present those options and work to get them as quick as you can so as not to delay this project any further, one of the other explorations that we could potentially do, if the Georgia Fund One money at its current interest rate is yielding about $7,000 per month, if you were able to leverage that residual that you're receiving every month from that money sitting there in paying back that financing, I mean, that's just another way to look at the modeling. And then you're not taking any money off of your books. You're only using the excess interest that you're obtaining from your money being diversified in different portfolios.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of creativity we need on this. I just pause when I see $1 million taken directly from our coffers. I appreciate that, we want to move quick because we've been talking about this for quite some time. We also want to be prudent with the dollars we're entrusted with. So as creative as we can be, or as collaborative as we can be with other funding sources, I'd be in favor of that. But I don't know, are we at a point right now to where we need to approve this today?
Again, this is for both homes.
Yes.
So I'm asking to do one home, so it won't be this 1 million.
So it'd be about
I mean, just
$500K
not
or
to
whatever it
exceed,
is.
But then
Yeah.
again, Mr. Clark took these costs down as much as possible. So it'll be not to exceed X amount for the one. And then have Mr. Wiggins continue on with the alternative financing options so we can move forward with everything else.
I got you.
So I couldn't hear the dialogue, but I do have a question for you. I do have a question for you, Mr. Wiggins. How long has the DDA's money been invested in Georgia Fund One?
I have to check the exact date, but I think it's been there for about maybe, since I got here, it was about a year.
And how much within that year do we have in residuals?
75,000. That's the
Mayor Butler, so if we look at it in that model, I don't know why we couldn't get an answer on financing that and using only the capital that is based upon our investments to fund paying back that loan. That's something I would direct staff to get you an answer to by the end of the week. Because now I just think that's some creative funding and your money stays liquid in the bank.
End of the week is tomorrow, so you mean the end of next week?
Director Director Matthews. There's nothing that precludes us from Director Wiggins. There's nothing that precludes us from calling SunTrust, calling Truist, calling our financial advisor, because they typically can provide those numbers very fast. Especially being that we have an on-time audit and they're able to get access to all of that information quickly.
If I may, we had discussed financing a little over 1.5 million with the URA. and with the same financial advisor, and he advised against it. The costs of issuance, interest rates are just exorbitant. And so if you wanted to do financing, I think it's definitely a good idea to have a discussion with Ed Wall. Because to just finance for 500,000, it might not be worth it in the long run. So I just wanted to, not to be the bearer of bad news, but just put that kind of light on it for you.
Yes, ma'am, I do. Thank you for jogging my memory. I do remember on that project, our financial advisor stating that Mayor Butler will have a call with the financial advisor first thing in the morning, if not this evening, and see how fast can we round up those answers. And if needed, staff is willing to even call for a special call meeting either top of next week to discuss what we found, which also allows us time to speak with Mr. Bernard even further based upon the considerations of the board today, and it doesn't really slow us down.
Also get the additional information. Also get the additional information for the soft costs.
Yes, ma'am. Well, yes, ma'am. Soft costs and hard costs. We got to focus on what's hard too. Just making certain we understand all of those numbers.
So if we're going down the path of going one house instead of two, wouldn't it make more sense for us to reduce the ask right now for the amount for that one house instead of doing the entire million for two? Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Okay, good. I'm much more in favor of the 500,000 because that's what's going to get us immediately where we want, rather than asking for the whole million. Yeah.
Not to exceed. And then whatever financing options we still come up with, and then whatever financing options we come up with, the ball is still rolling instead of having to come back to approve a figure. We're doing it now. Does that make sense? Am I saying that correctly? Okay, yeah.
You might want to.
So, yeah, so although we are assuming it would be half the cost, we do not know that. So to Mr. Clark's point, if you wanted to do a special called meeting next week, that would give time for Mr. Bernard to provide an alternative estimate and then also give a breakdown of what those soft costs actually are. Assuming everyone's available.
And that, yes, assuming everyone is available. But I think we're gonna take a stab at it, and just, if we have to come back, then we do. I think we should just take a stab at it and let him know this is what our budget is. Can he work within our budget?
Or provide us a product that's within our budget.
Yes, that too. Any other questions or comments?
Mayor Butler, just before we go down this path, did Attorney Metricardi opine about the crowdsourcing opportunity for this philanthropic initiative?
That would be fine. That's permissible.
Okay, so Mayor Butler, we'll also have staff work on a marketing campaign for that as well, and just start that in tandem with the work that we're doing. And for Board Member Stallings, since you deal a lot in that space, do you think this will yield any favorable results from major corporations?
I don't deal in crowdfunding as much, but I'm also a believer that you get 0% of what you don't ask for. So I'm in favor of it.
Okay. And there could be more platforms. I'm just not aware of them. I don't think a GoFundMe, I don't know if that's the most appropriate way to go because so many
No.
people have used it in the wrong way.
Right. And so finance would need to create a restricted fund in a new account, essentially limited to this fund. So it's not commingled with anything else. And of course, it would be tax deductible. So definitely don't want to go through GoFundMe because it would not be
Now, for the
tax
crowdfunding,
deductible. Mhm.
for the crowdfunding, Attorney Matricardi, so that we can leave this board meeting, since we have a quorum, and really get into work, get everything working. Is there any type of motion or any type of authority that needs to be granted by way of a formal motion, allowing staff to, in fact, create a account for this money to go into, so that none of our bank accounts are associated with a third-party company? And then establishing a policy that states these funds are to be used for X. I'm just trying to play it safe.
Yes, I think a separate motion would be necessary.
Okay, so the first motion would be, would you like to state the first motion?
So first motion would be to authorize legal counsel to prepare a contract with TPI Group to not, with the contract amount not to exceed $500,000 for the construction of a single-family residential home. The address. What was the address? Excuse me, I don't have it in front of me.
Ernest, 4223 Ernest.
For 4523 Ernest Drive.
We're still gonna split the lot. We're still gonna move forward with that. Okay. All right, thank you. That was Jay. Is there a second?
I second.
That was Eric. Is there any other discussion? Ms. Clay, please. Yes.
Yes.
Nancy Howard.
Yes.
Yes.
Second motion.
So motion to direct staff to explore financing alternatives to build the second home on, I gave you back the sheet. On 4523 Ernest Drive to include, but not limited to, crowdfunding opportunities, as well as directing finance to create a separate restricted account for any donations received.
So moved.
Thank you. That was, and then a second by Nancy. Is there any other discussion? All right, Ms. Clay? Yes?
Yes.
Jacqueline Faith.
Yes.
Nancy Howard.
Yes.
Jay Edmonds. Yes.
All right, thank you. Now, we do have executive session. So I'm going to ask for a motion to recess to go into executive session for personnel, litigation, real estate, or legal matters.
So moved.
All right, that was Eric. Is there a second? By Jay, is there any discussion? All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.